Weissach.
Welcome back. And here we are. This is the Porsche 911 GT2 RS Weissach package in Miami blue. The overall shape of the model is very accurate to the real deal. The first thing that I noticed right away when I opened this box up for this model was the shut lines on the doors. These are by far some of the best shut lines I've ever seen on a model. Look at those shut lines. If someone told me this was a sealed model, I'd believe it right away. That is just fantastic, and that's a testament to the ABS composite material that Autoart uses. I almost said plastic. But that is fantastic, which also goes to show, as I've mentioned in a previous video, the advantage of using that material for your more modern automobiles. And this is proof of that right there. So the wheel detail, as usual with Autoart's fantastic. These gold wheels with the yellow calipers is such a great combination along with the blue, I think anyway. You see there it has the bow stem. It has the scripting as usual. Autoart seems to be doing that now with all of their models, which is pretty cool. The wheel size from front to back is different, just like the real thing. It has a very good looking carbon ceramic brake in the background. The single lug to hold the wheel is very accurate. It has the old RS on there as well. All the print is clear. Again, typical Autoart fashion. Before I go any further with the details of this model, my jaw dropped when I opened this. Not because it's a beautiful car. It is a beautiful car. But my biggest complaint for just about all of the Autoart models, with the exception of maybe their Pagani BC, I don't own any of those, only because of the notorious brick that's in the back of the motor, which to me looks terrible. But my point being is that the carbon fiber has always been subpar in my opinion with most of their models, especially on their Aventadors. But this model, the carbon fiber is beautiful. It has a gloss to it. It does mimic the real thing. I am pleasantly surprised about that. And for me, that makes it well worth the price that I paid for this model. If I had the funds, which I don't, to own a Porsche, this is the color combination and exact car I would want, for sure. I just always liked this combination. So I was very happy when Autoart decided to use this as one of their colors that they were producing. So, good job, Autoart. So, going back to the model, the intake does have a perforated grill inside there, so that's really neat. Again, outstanding carbon fiber on the mirrors. Moving on to the front, of course you have your perforated grills, as Autoart always does, just like the real deal. Scripting on the bumper, identical to the real deal as well. Has that GT2 RS printed right there on there in the mold of the bumper, or splitter rather. The headlights, very good, very well detailed. So you can see there's a little blue. So yes, there's an ice blue little bulb in there. They even added that detail, so that was a very nice detail. The emblem for the Porsche is very good. It does not look like a decal. It looks like a really good reproduced emblem. It actually has a really nice shine, and the reason why I rubbed my finger on it is because you can definitely feel the pattern on top of it. Well done. Moving on to the back. Again, you have your nice little mesh grill there. It's revealing that muffler. Notice how some models, when you look through the exhaust, you can see right where a dead stop, where there's just a hole and there's a plastic end to it. It doesn't go all the way through. These will go all the way through. So I really thought that was neat. I like that detail a lot. You have your perforated grills here. I did notice on this side there is a little, and you can see it too, there's a little glue residue. So somebody who's a stickler for perfect details would probably take some alcohol or something to try to remove some of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not that kind of collector. The wing, again, is constructed very nicely. I like the screws in there, just like the real thing. It's really nice and neat. As mentioned, if I haven't mentioned it, this is a fully opening model. You wouldn't know it from its shut lines because they are very well done. I mean, very well done. And that includes the, I guess this would be the hood of the model. Yeah, Autoart. There you go. So there you are. It's fully opening. Really like the, I don't want to call it a hinge, but you get my drift. It's a very nice mechanism to hold the hood open. It's very nice in the back. You have the hinges there as well. It's very nice. You can see they made sure that they included the venting that comes from the back here. Goes all the way through to cool the engine, so that's very nice there. It's a nice little mesh grill there as well. Very nice detail. Moving on to the interior. As you can see, the dashboard is pretty well laid out. Has all the pertinent things that you would expect. I'm going to say the best feature to me on this is the Porsche symbol on the steering wheel. It's because it's raised, it has a pattern to it, so I think that's really nice. It's just not a flat decal, just like the hood emblem. The vents for the AC and everything is flat. There's no kind of pattern there or anything like that. The pedals are pretty nicely laid out. They look like aluminum pedals, so that's simulated pretty well. The door cards, on the other hand, I know on the real thing this is supposed to be cloth. This is a rubber piece here. The switches that you see here for the power windows and all the other pertinent switches, it's just a flat decal, so just a little disappointing. The carbon fiber on the back of the seat here and on the sides, this looks like the old carbon fiber Autoart look, which is just a plastic that looks like it's been raked for a pattern on it to mimic a carbon fiber, instead of looking like this here, which on the real deal it is nice and glossy like this. Now none of these, because it sounds like I'm just pointing out all the negatives, none of these negatives really detract from the overall presentation of the model, in my opinion. It's just things that I'm pointing out. And I pointed out because to me some of this is like the old versus the new. I'll give you another example. The switches on here on the console, that's all just a decal. And I do know, because I have older models, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you do as well, you know, these would actually be plastic switches, and you would actually see the raised look. In other words, they were 3D because they actually molded the switches. That is not the case with this model. The last thing I'm going to point out, and again, I'm not trying to sound like a downer for this model, just pointing out some of the facts here. This seatbelt, this again reminds me of old Autoart. Old Autoart would use plastic to mimic a cloth seatbelt. Now this is much softer than the old school plastic because, you know, it used to be like a hard plastic, wouldn't move at all. But now it looks like a rubber band. So I like the fact that it matches the paint, but again, it's kind of like the old Autoart. I really do like the seats. They are, I'm assuming they're simulated leather. The insert as well. But I believe on the real deal, the insert is not leather. Pretty sure they did that to not have to go through and make the patterns differently. This model kind of reminds me of like, remember when Autoart had all their different divisions, the Millennium Division, their signatures and all that, and you had the in-betweens. I think they would be called the Performance. That's what this reminds me of. It reminds me of like a performance model because those were the kind of things that you would see on a performance model. You wouldn't see cloth seatbelts and highly detailed switch plates and boards and buttons and things like that. You would see that more on the signature. But now with Autoart, you really can't tell what you're getting until you get it, because there's really no separation between, you know, a model that would have those materials versus, you know, what you see now. So anyway, it's just a thought of mine. So I'll just digress off of that. I really love the flocking for the carpet. That does look like real carpet. It's a really nice material that they use. Since we're here already, inside there's not too much mortar detail because, well, you wouldn't see much mortar detail. One thing I do like, I think is outstanding, is the, and I'm not a Porsche guy when it comes to the actual motors. I do love Porsches, but I do like that these, whatever they are true mesh, and you can see some detail inside of there. It's not anything that you can, you know, extrapolate as to what that is exactly, but I do like that you can see that there's something behind there. Of course, you have your two giant intakes right there, which is really nice. It's not just a plastic piece. There are holes that go all the way through. So very nice. You have your perforated grill up there as well for the cooling. Very nice. Let's move on to the front. All the hinge work, the dampers that's used for the hood to hold open, very well done. Something else that I really like here is the venting on the carbon fiber. Not only did they, again, have a much more improved carbon fiber look to it, but the metal grill, the mesh grill, is actually behind the vents as well, just like the real thing. So I like that. That's really nice. See that? It's really nice. Then you have your, again, your carpeting inside, which is really nice. All the kind of things that you would see in this model or this actual car is there. So it's very nice as well. So let's move to a top view. The main thing I just wanted to point out on the top view is, again, how outstanding and beautiful the carbon fiber is. Just pay attention to this right up here. That is fantastic. I am just amazed. I had my doubts, but they did it. It looks fantastic. Porsche very accurately laid across the rear wing. Yep. The overall presentation of this model is just outstanding. Just give you one more look before I move to my final conclusions. Again, this is the Autoart Porsche 911 GT2 RS. Now to my conclusions. Well, I hope you enjoyed that review as much as I did doing it. This is a great model. It is a model that's not priced too crazy. You can get these for under $200 if you look in the right places. That's under $200 US. On the high side, I've seen them as high as $230. You definitely want to do your research when looking for this model. It does come in a plethora of different colors. So again, I chose this color because it was my favorite out of that options that Porsche actually had for this particular model. The positives: the overall shape, the color, the overall detail of the model, the scripting on the tires, all that is well done. It's something that Autoart has basically started doing, and now they're doing it across the board with the scripting on the tires. They've always been great at the wheel detail, and this is no exception to that at all. Some of the negatives, definitely in the interior more than anything else. The seat belts aren't all that great. The overall detail that was used to for the dashboard and the switches and all that, all those are decals, and you can clearly see that they're decals. But just like with most models, I would think that something like this, you're going to pay more attention to the outside of it anyway. And really, the things that I'm nitpicking, you'd really have to look up close. With the exception of the seatbelts, you'd really have to look up close to notice the difference. So I kind of understand why Autoart did this. I also mentioned Autoart used to have, and maybe they still do and they don't do it anymore, but they used to have these divisions. They used to have the Millennium division, the Performance division, I think it was called, and then they had the Signature. And this would definitely fit more or less in that Performance edition, I would think. Maybe the Millennium is usually something that was older and they brought back. So yeah, more on that Performance, I guess you would say, for Autoart. This model will definitely be one of those that is going to be highly collectible and sought after once they stop making them. These are not limited editions, so who knows how many of these they'll make. They'll probably keep making them until, you know, we get tired of seeing them. But even if they do that, just like with most models in time, once that company stops making them, the values shoot up. This is a desirable car in real life, and it's definitely going to be a desirable model if it isn't already right now. So this would definitely get the $3 signs as far as the value of this model. Last thing, I'm surprised I didn't mention it first. Again, great job, Autoart, on the carbon fiber. You finally mastered it. Congratulations. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. That is the only way I'm going to know that you're enjoying these videos. You'll definitely see more of these coming up soon. I have some great surprises for you. Thank you very much again, and see you next time.